नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू ला तअकुलू अम्वालकुम बैनकुम बिल बातिल इल्ला अन तकूना तिजारतन अन तरादिम मिनकुम. Respected teachers, President, honorable judges and dear audience, business has been one of the main sources of livelihood, and its importance and usefulness have been equally recognized in all ages. But nowadays it has become backbone of the global economy. Today, whichever nation has adopted business, not only its economy condition is better, but it is also politically dominant at the national and global level. There was a time when Muslims were ahead of all nations in the field of business. But gradually, the Muslims gave up business and adopted other sources of sustenance, which become one of the reasons for the downfall of the Ummah. Dear audience, as we are going to talk about business, first of all, we must know the meaning of this word. So, according to the Oxford Dictionary, business is the activity of making, buying, selling, and supplying goods or services for money. And there are many types of business. There are types of business by structure, and there are types of business by size. So types of business by structure are: number 1, sole proprietorship; number 2, partnership; number 3, limited liability company. And types of business by size are: number 1, a small business; number 2, mid-sized business; number 3, large enterprises; and number 4, business industries. Dear audience, regarding to the importance of business in Islam, there are several verses and narrations in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet and other religious leaders order people to go after business and halal gaining. So in order to understand the importance of business in Islam, first of all, let's take a look into the 3 verses of the Quran that show the importance of business in Islam. Number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in His holy book Quran in Surah Al-Muzammil, ayah number 20, وَآخَرُونَ يَضْرِبُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَبْتَغُونَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ, and others traveling throughout the land seeking Allah's bounty, seeking something of the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the tafsir of this verse, Imam Baghawi says, أي مسافرين في الأرض يبتغون من فضل الله في المكاسب والمتاجر. It means traveler throughout the land seeking Allah's bounty in gains and trades. So the meaning of this ayah is that the ones who travel throughout the land for their business, for halal gaining, are actually seeking the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this ayah of the Quran shows the importance of business in Islam. Number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, ayah number 20, فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. Then once the salah is over, disperse in the land and seek the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here we can see again that business is mentioned in the form of Allah's bounty, which implies the importance and goodness of business in the Islamic point of view. Number 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 198, لَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. There is no blame upon you for seeking bounty from your Lord. This ayah of the Quran was revealed when the companions of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ considered the thought that business and trade, buying and selling goods, may be an act of sin during the Hajj seasons. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed them saying, no, it's not sinful. There is no blame upon you for seeking bounty from your Lord. So permission of business, permission of trade, and permission of buying and selling goods even during the Hajj seasons shows the importance of business in Islam. Dear audience, now we will try to understand the importance of business from the life of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions and through the narrations. So in order to understand the importance of business from the life of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it is enough to know that our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he himself was a businessman. He traveled with the goods of Khadija radiallahu anha to Syria and Yemen for business purpose. So business is the sunnah of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And many of the companions of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were businessmen. And when Muslims migrated from Mecca to Medina and they had nothing with them, and our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, our Prophet united them. He made brotherhood between the Ansar and Muhajirin, and he also made brotherhood between Saad bin Rabi al-Ansari and Abdurrahman bin Auf. Then Abdul Rahman Saad bin Rabi al-Ansari offered half of his wealth and one of his wives to Abdul Rahman bin Auf, but he refused to accept. He did not accept. Instead, he replied, "May Allah bless your family. May Allah bless your wealth. Just guide me. Just direct me to the market." So he went to the market and bought ghee and whatever he could afford, and he continued buying and selling until Allah made a lot of money for him. He got married and a lot of good happened to him, and he continued to make profits from his business until he became one of the richest person in Medina. This is the barakah of business. This is the barakah of halal gaining. And this action of the companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shows the importance of business in Islam. Dear audience, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, "Anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam su'ila ayyul kasbi atyam?" Faqala, "Amalu rajuli biyadi wa kullu bay'in mabrur." Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, which gain is better, which earning is better? Then he replied, the work of a man with his own hands and every bay mabrur. Then what is bay mabrur? The Islamic scholars have said, bay mabrur is the one that does not involve fraud, deceit, and does not violate Sharia law. There is another narration from Umar radiallahu anhu. He said, there is no place that I would love for my death to come to me after jihad in the path of Allah except to be in trade and business, buying and selling. So this statement from one of the closest companions of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shows the importance of business in Islam. Dear audience, these were the importance of Islam, importance of business in Islam in the light of Quran, Hadith and narrations, and there are benefits